With so much of the Earth's natural spaces being occupied by humans, some species have become exceedingly rare. So rare that at times it seems that they have disappeared entirely. Searches for elusive animals often turn up nothing, as human disturbance scares them away. But with the invention of the camera trap, also called a trail cam or a game cam, animals that are normally spooked by human presence have been easier to find. In this video, we'll look at 5 rare or mysterious animals that were captured on camera traps. Welcome back to All.About.Nature. On my channel, I try to make nature-related content that's both entertaining and educational. If you like this kind of content, then please consider helping out the channel by liking the video, leaving a comment, or even subscribing. I really appreciate your support. In 1992 in Vietnam, the skull of an odd animal was found by ecologists in a hunter's home. It had 2 long backward-facing horns, and the scientists were certain it must be a new species. An expedition into Vu Quang National Park managed to discover and describe the Seola for the first time. Despite looking like an antelope, the Seola is actually a species of bovine, and they're considered one of the rarest mammals in the world. In 1993, several attempts to keep them in captivity were made, but each ended with the animals dying within months, sometimes even only weeks. Over the coming years, sightings of the Seola have been few and far between. After a sighting in 1999, the species wasn't confirmed to have been seen again until 2010, when an animal was captured by the people of a small village. The animal sadly died shortly after its capture. The species only inhabits the Annamite range of Vietnam, and their population is estimated to be lower than 750 animals. Since 2010, the Seola has only been recorded once, when it was caught on a camera trap in 2013. While the animal isn't fully in the frame, it is clearly a Seola based off the shape of its horns. This is also the last known sighting of a Seola, as the species hasn't been documented in the last 10 years. Because of how elusive the species is, almost nothing is known about their behavior and ecology. While the population is estimated at being as high as 750, many scientists believe that it's more likely that there are only a few dozen left in the world. The island of Java in Indonesia is the most populated island in the world. This means that much of the natural habitat has been cleared for human settlement, and most large species have suffered. The Javan tiger was wiped out in the 1970s, while the Javan leopard is critically endangered. The Asian elephants of Java died off at some point between the 14th and 18th centuries, while the Javan rhino is down to less than 80 individuals left in the world. Java is also home to 2 species of wild pig, the banded pig and the Javan Warty Pig. The banded pig is a subspecies of wild boar and is relatively common, while the Javan Warty Pig is one of the rarest species of pig on Earth. Called the Javan Warty Pig because of the 3 pairs of facial warts it has, the species is highly endangered. Between 1982 and 2006, their population dropped by more than 50%. There are estimated to be no more than about 350 left in the wild, but possibly as few as only 150. Between 2016 and 2017, researchers from the Chester Zoo in the UK led a series of expeditions across Java looking for the species. They set up camera traps in 7 locations, identified by local hunters. And they managed to capture 17 videos of the pigs at 2 different sites. These are the first ever videos of the species in the wild. Today, the Javan Warty Pig is threatened by habitat loss for agriculture, but it's also regularly hunted by local people and it's losing genetic purity due to hybridization with the banded pig. Islands are some of the most vulnerable habitats in the world. When an island becomes overpopulated or suffers from an introduced species, native flora and fauna have nowhere to go. The Philippines has a high number of endemic species, with many of them struggling to survive. The Visayas are one of the Philippines' 3 main island groups, and like Indonesia, the Philippines is home to a species of warty pig. The Visayan Warty Pig once lived throughout the Visayas, but today is limited to the islands of Panay and Negros. They live in small groups of up to 6 animals, but due to how small their population is, they're difficult to study, and little is known about the species. 95% of their habitat has disappeared, and it's believed that the pigs struggle to find sufficient food to survive. Their estimated wild population stands at around 200, and they're critically endangered. While they are found in captivity, no photograph of a wild Visayan Warty Pig existed until 2012. The Negros Interior Biodiversity Expedition set out to photograph rare Filipino animals by setting up camera traps in densely forested areas across the island of Negros. They were amazed when they realized that one of the cameras captured a photograph of not only one, but 2 Visayan Warty Pigs, making this the first ever photograph of a wild specimen. Interestingly, this isn't the only extremely rare animal that they captured on their expedition. The Philippines is home to 3 species of endemic deer. One was recognized as its own species in 1983. At that time, the Visayan spotted deer was believed to have a global population of only 2,500 individuals, with the majority existing in zoos. Around the same time that it was recognized as a unique species, the deer disappeared from Negros Island, and for the next 25 years, no evidence of their existence was found outside of Panay Island. In 2009, an expedition of British and Filipino mountaineers and scientists found evidence that the deer was holding on within North Negros Natural Park. They believed that at least 2 groups existed based on the scat and feeding evidence. It was the first sign of the species in 25 years. So, when the camera traps captured a Visayan spotted deer in 2012, researchers were very excited. This is the first picture of a wild Visayan deer on Negros Island ever taken. It's estimated that the total global population is less than 700 deer, with only about 300 still living in the wild. Due to their extremely low population and intense pressure from hunting and habitat loss, many researchers aren't hopeful about the species' recovery. The last animal for this video was actually initially a mystery. In April of 2023, a visitor to the Benson Rio Grande Valley State Park set up a camera trap to see what animals they might see. When they saw this picture, they were left confused. The animal was short, relatively round, had a head like a bear, and no visible tail. They donated the picture to the state park, and shortly thereafter, the rangers took to social media, asking for the public's help in identifying the species. We're scratching our heads trying to identify this elusive creature. Is it a new species? An escapee from a nearby zoo? Or just a park ranger in disguise? Commenters had a huge range of guesses. Some thought that it was an opossum, a raccoon, a bear, or even a chupacabra. But a few days later, the park confirmed that they agreed with the guesses of many other commenters. The animal in the picture is likely an animal that's very rarely seen in the park. not because it's uncommon, but because it's nocturnal and secretive. The American badger. The species has short legs and a wide body, but perhaps the most distinctive feature that gives it away are the dark and light markings on the side of the face. And that's it for today's video. Next week, I'll show you 5 more animals caught on camera traps, but this time it will only be 5 rare species of cat. I want to quickly thank my patrons. Without their support, I wouldn't be able to continue making content like this. And if you want to support the channel, consider joining me on Patreon to get early access to videos and a say in what content I make next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.